Hey guys, welcome to the channel and welcome back to another video. Today I want to talk about Nvidia and what's going on with Nvidia stock, NVDA, ticker symbol, and talk about the fact that the correction is here and ask the general question, is it still a buy? Is Nvidia still a buy? That's the question I want to talk about and kind of ponder on this quick video, guys. We're going to talk about the fact that Nvidia's stock has recently been declining due to several factors, right? We know that they report super duper great earnings. They got another earnings report coming out in August, and their earnings report has beat analyst expectations. We know that. We know there's also high, lofty expectations for Nvidia based on their previous performance in the last, say, 18 months or more. But it suggests, because of the recent sort of decline in their stock price, it suggests some type of either a sell-off or a market exhaustion with the talk of Nvidia. Um, that's what we want to talk about, right? This is it. My goal for this video is for the investors, the newer to middle investors who haven't been investing very long, to understand that this is not the time to panic. Just because you see a stock go down 10%, 12%, 13%, whatever it's gone down in the last several, I say since last Thursday, right? Let me know if you can hear me. Give me a thumbs up. Let me know if you can hear me okay, guys. And let me know where you're coming from, what city, state, county, country, part of the world you're in. Somebody said, hey, Smart Money Bro, buy the book. Good to have you in here. But we want to talk about maybe what's led up to some of the sell-off and what is this sell-off. And when I say sell-off, when a stock gets to a certain point, you have a number of investors, retail investors, and even some institutional investors who want to cash out, right? They see that the stock has gone up to $135 per share, $140 per share. Let's cash out a little bit. And if you get a lot of folks cashing out, that's what we call a sell-off. And then you see a stock price maybe go down a little bit. But is this the time to panic? Is this the time to say, let me sell my shares that I bought? That's something you got to think about. But right now, it's the Nvidia stock is below the split price, right? When it split a month ago, I think it split around 120 or about $120 per share. And now today it closed at $118 per share. So we want to kind of examine a little bit of that, guys, and also say, don't panic. For those of you that threw money in there. Hey, Helen Harris, good to have you here. Harry said, I'm buying more. Let's see. Somebody said, I bought it at 140 and at 130, I'm sick. Tony said, don't be sick, Tony. We'll talk about it. Brown girls invest too. It's the end of the month sell-off. That happens quite a bit at the end of the month because you got investors that want to cash out. Somebody said, I'm panicking. Don't panic. Listen, Charlotte, North Carolina's in the house. Good to have you. Artemis, good to have you. Winston-Salem's in here. Oakland, California. Southern Illinois. We got Grand Rising. Good to have you here. Let's see here. I don't know what the great first state is. Hey, LD Sims, no panic here. I was expecting it. Absolutely. But we want to just ensure the people that are maybe newer investors, because we got a lot of folks like that. Atlanta, heading back to Mexico in a week. Good to have you in here. Brooklyn's in the house. John Boy. Let's see. Marga, Florida. Not sure how to say it. Somebody said, I'm buying. Denver, Colorado. Namisha, how you doing? Good to have you here. Checking in from Connecticut. Good to have you, Sam. Somebody said, keep buying. Orlando, Florida. So let's have this conversation. It's Monday, first day of the week. Right, first day of the stock market, the open market here today. So let's have this conversation, guys. So we know that Nvidia has been balling out of control for the last 18 months, right? But have the expectations for Nvidia been too high? Are we looking at a potential bubble that Nvidia's kind of been blowing up in, right? There's some numbers we could get into, and we'll look at a couple of articles here, guys. But I just want to give this nod to say, if you're a new investor, or this is one of your first big investments where you bought a bunch of shares, I just want to tell you to not panic. This is what happens in the market all the time, and you got to be aware of that. What I'm trying to do is get you guys to be seasoned investors and to get you to learn the whole game of investing, right? There's risk involved all the time. Just because we see a stock going up, doesn't mean it's going to always go up. It could flatline. for 6 months. It could flatline for a year. It could double back a little bit, right? It's already pulled back some. It could pull back more. We could by the middle of this week, guys, end of this week, we could be looking at Nvidia trading for 110, 109, right? That's very, very, very possible, right? But there, could there there's been a little bit of volatility here and there, but Nvidia has really been carrying the S&P 500 for the last year, right? But there's been a recent decline, guys. The market sentiment towards Nvidia remains pretty positive. Let's look at a couple of articles real quick, and let's kind of go over some things that happened today, guys. Let's see here. Let's see. Bought 87 shares. I see some folks still rapping about it. Good, good, good. Let's go over here and add this screen to the stage real quick so we can get a good feel real quick. Yeah, Nvidia closed at $118.11. Let's see. For the last 5 days, it was up to 132. Then it went up to about I think it peaked at about 139, near 140. And now per share. And now it's back down to 118. And maybe some stuff happening after hours. But as we look at Nvidia for the month over month, we see a little bit of I forget what they call that, right? But we see a little bit of dips here and there, right? Boom, little bump, but it's always on the way up. This is going to be the biggest dip it's had in quite a while. And let's go ahead and get off of that and look at a few of these articles real quick and just kind of thumb through them, guys, because I want to kind of put you at ease, but I want to go through the types of things you'll be going through as you do your own research and of course sort of do some of the research for you, I guess. I don't know. All right. So this one says, I'm on the Motley Fool right now. It says Nvidia shares saw a bump after their recent split. It's been a wild ride. Let me see if this is today. Been a wild ride for Nvidia investors, right? It's been a ride, right? The stock is up 190% since this time last year, as the company has positioned itself brilliantly as the dominant chip provider for the AI market. We know that, right? Big tech players, Amazon, Microsoft, Alphabet, are all turning to Nvidia's technology to power their AI offerings. It says the skyrocketing price led Nvidia to split its stock. We know that. Then it says, since the split announcement, the stock is up 33%, despite fact shares, boom, boom, boom. Then it says, Nvidia looks overvalued at first glance. I'm kind of going back to here to take a look at maybe what we could be seeing, right? A little overvalue in the price that it had went up to, 139, 140. One of the most common ways to value a company is its PE ratio. Nvidia boasts a PE, price to earnings, multiple of 70 as of this writing. Compare that to the two tech giants that's currently battling for the title of the world's largest company. 39 and 33 for Microsoft and Apple, right? And it goes on, bar is high for Nvidia, but there's ample reason to believe it can deliver. So a lot of positive sentiment about Nvidia, right? So whatever you do, don't let what's happening right now, a correction, it's really a correction. Don't let that sway you, okay? Let's check out another one real quick here, just to kind of run through another one that was written. Let's see here. Boom, boom. We're getting there. Here we go. All right. So Nvidia slides 13% in 3 days after briefly becoming the most valuable company. Last week, we talked about, hey, they went over a 3 trillion market cap, and they overtook Microsoft and overtook Apple. So let's see here. It says, since briefly becoming the world's most valuable company last week, Nvidia dropped for 3 straight trading days and is now down 13% from its peak. And that's like hundreds of billions of dollars in market cap, right? Monday's slide was the chip maker's second steepest drop of the year, as the stock fell by 6.7% to 118.11, which is what it closed at. Nvidia's decline brought with it a slide in chip makers and other tech companies that have been tied to the artificial intelligence boom. Now, was Supermicro Computer, which sells servers packed with Nvidia's chips, fell 8.7%, and Dell, which competes in that market, fell 5.2%, right? Many of these companies have been some of the biggest gainers in the last couple of years, as investors bet heavily that they'll be the prime beneficiaries of a wave of AI spending. So Nvidia's value has tripled in the past year, even after this 3-day slump, right? Last week, it went over Apple and Microsoft, as we mentioned. Investors may be taking an opportunity to lock in gains, right? Sell off, lock in gains. I don't think the party is over, but it's had a heck of a run. And there are so many other places in technology to offer better, attractive risk reward. Okay. NVIDIA has said that demand for its prized AI graphics GPUs remains high as companies including Microsoft, Google, Amazon, Oracle, Meta buy billions of dollars worth. Later this year, NVIDIA will start shipping its next generation AI chip called Blackwell, right? So this is the kicker, guys. Here's what's happening. There's a little bit of exhaustion in the market, and investors are looking to other companies that offer a little less risk reward, right? I'm sorry, a little less risk, right? Than Nvidia right now, because Nvidia has been blowing up so much. The more it blows up, the more risk there is that it's overvalued. And so you see that some folks are starting to look elsewhere, and that means there may be a flat line for Nvidia for a while, or even a dip beyond what it is. But that doesn't deny the fundamentals of the company, right? The fundamentals of the company cannot be denied based on what's currently happening, what we see the last 5 days or so, right? So just keep that in mind as well, that it's still a great company, still a great place to be. And let me say this, I got to say this before I forget it. I don't think I'll forget it, but I'll say it now anyway. Nvidia, this may be the time to buy. So if you're a really, really serious investor, perhaps this is the time when you say, you know what? Let me take advantage of this dip, because I've been studying AI. I've been researching the possibilities of AI, and I believe that AI is the next wave. Yes, there's some other companies, some Broadcom, some Intel, some AMD that could actually benefit and be a great place to also park some money. But I really believe in AI, and I believe that NVIDIA, from everything I've heard and read and seen, NVIDIA is the way to go. You can get Nvidia for 118 bucks per share right now. You got to look at it from that standpoint too, as an investor, right? So the key is for us, people that are invested in Nvidia, is to not panic. And in fact, you should be, if you believe that AI, based on your research, is going to be what it's going to be, and Nvidia is going to remain a top player, you need to dig your heels in and maybe get in some more. All right. I'm not telling you what to do. I'm telling you how to think. I'm telling you how to look at this thing, right? Somebody said, what up? Southern Mississippi is here. Good to have you here. This is probably the pullback I've been talking about a few weeks ago. This could very well be the pullback. Let's see. NW said, is there a bottom button you can press so you only lost a certain amount, or do you have to hurry up and press the sell button? There's several ways. I'm not sure which platform you're on. Let's see. I was stupid to have bought more shares, and therefore, no. You weren't stupid to have bought more shares and thereafter. No, you're not stupid to buy shares. Okay. So this is why I want to address this. And I think this is why it's really, really important that we talk about it as a group of people that may be newer investors into individual stocks, right? Is because you may look at this go down, and it's like you're saying to yourself, oh man, I messed up. I bet the wrong thing. No, it doesn't mean that. If you did your homework appropriately in the beginning, don't throw your homework out the window because you see a slight pullback in the price. This is normal, right? The overall sentiment towards Nvidia remains very positive and very optimistic, right? But why? But here's why you should not panic. Let's see. Somebody said wealth is built in down markets. Yes, brown girls invest too. Absolutely. So when you see a stock from a company that you know is a good, solid company, and you see it go down, which you will see, that's an opportunity to buy. Remember this adage, guys. I don't care what you ever do. Remember this. If you don't take nothing else from me, take this. Buy low and hold, or buy low and sell high. Buy low and hold, or buy low and sell high, right? So when you see a low, a potential dip, that's the opportunity for you to buy. Just imagine if you were going to a retail store to buy a shirt right now. When you walked in the retail store, the shirt that they had on, not on sale, the shirt they had out front on the mannequin looking good for $140 last week, is now over on that discount rack in the back that says 20% off. And now that shirt that was 140 is selling for 118. It's still the same $140 shirt with all of the good fundamentals, the good materials, the beautiful buttons, the comfortable fit, right? The thing that it's going to be in style in 6 months, right? It's still that beautiful shirt. It's just sitting on the discount rack now. And now, if you decide to get it, you're getting a bargain. You got to be looking at that. You're buying it low, that shirt that's on the discount rack. You're buying it low. You don't have to go buy it for 140. Some folks bought it for 140, 139. And guess what? It may be this time next year, it may be worth 190. We don't know that, right? But you can now go get it for 118, 118.11, according to how Nvidia finished the day, right? So that's how you got to be thinking. The key is don't panic, but it started, right? And when I say it started, I mean the pullback has started, right? We didn't know until really, I think, today that the correction was here. But as we see how today unfolded, it looks like the correction is here. Somebody said, sold all of my Nvidia and just finished. Stop that. Come on, Bat man. Come on. Don't do that. Let's see here. Southside Jamaica Queens is in the house. Good to have you. Jamaica Queens is in New York, right? Let's see. I bought 87 shares. I'm going to get more. Nothing wrong with that. Tony said, new investor. Good to have you here, Tony. Great place to learn, great place to be and share ideas and get information. Let's see here. In at 122, how low can it go? Maybe 108, said Larry. You're right. Right? It's now at 116 after hours trading, said Nayamiya. Let's see. I don't care if Nvidia stock drops to 100 per share. I will buy more. There you got an investor in there, right? This is the time to lower your position if you cannot get out. The other thing to think about is the fact that, there's going to be an earnings report come up in August. And when that earnings report comes up, as we lead up to the earnings report, there's going to be projections. And if they report earnings, I think it's August 21st. If Nvidia reports earnings that are better and bigger, you could see another boom, right? Let's see here. And I'm skipping over a few guys. Somebody, Chipotle is about to do a 50-1 split on Wednesday. Yes, Chipotle is doing a 50-1 split. Thanks for bringing it up, LD Sims. Chipotle is doing a 50-1 split coming up. A good place to be if you're an individual stock picker, an individual stock investor, and some of you aren't. Some of you are all ETFs and index funds. That's cool too. That's where I'm at. But if you're an individual stock investor, you need to be looking at those stock splits. Sometimes those stock splits go well. Sometimes they don't always go well. But a lot of times when you're talking about a 50-1 split, that's huge, right? I think Chipotle was down the last few days as well. But let's see. Do you need a broker to sign up and trade on any trading app? No, you don't. You need to get it. When we say get a brokerage account, a brokerage account is an account on Robinhood or an account on Webull or an account on, Vanguard or Fidelity. That's your broker. That's your broker platform that you can use. You don't need an outside broker to do any trading or any buying of stock. No. Let's see here. Thanks again. Okay, good. AVGO was down. So the other thing, here's the thing. Here's why you should not panic in NVIDIA. Market fluctuations, guys, are normal. I think I said it earlier. Stock markets, they inherently experience this up and down, right? Short-term volatility is the norm in the stock market. So that's one reason you shouldn't panic. And that can be due to anything. It could be due to the fact that, hey, everybody's getting tired of Nvidia. Everybody's a little bit looking at other places to go. Some people want to sell off, right? Some people, there could be a war that takes place or geopolitical things can happen, right? There's a lot of reasons why prices of a stock go up and down, up and down, up and down in the short run, right? Irrational exuberance, right? This irrational, this fear of missing out that's caused people to go out and buy, running Nvidia up to a slight bubble, perhaps, right? So that's something to think about. That happens. But look, here's another reason you shouldn't panic. The long-term perspective of AI, the long-term perspective or outlook on Nvidia, right? Does it change all of a sudden because the stock price went down? Not necessarily. No, it doesn't change all of a sudden just because the price went down. They could have earnings report next time in August that blow everybody out the water again. And if they blow everybody out the water again, this is still the same company, right? So you got to think about that, right? Don't just say, "Oh, I messed up. Let me sell everything." Don't you don't have to do that. But we see that the correction is here. Is it still a buy? Think about the fundamental strength of the company. If you've invested in Nvidia and did your research and you saw that it had strong fundamentals, strong revenue growth, right? Strong debt to revenue, strong assets versus liability, strong all if you look at all the fundamentals, profit loss, income statement, balance sheet, and they all look good, but you see a temporary drop in stock price, that may not necessarily reflect the company's true value. It may reflect the company's true value if the company was slightly overvalued and in sort of its own little bubble, right? But if you've done your research, and this is why research is so important, do not buy stocks based on what Smart Money Bro says on a YouTube channel. Do not buy stocks based on what your favorite other YouTube channel, YouTube person says. Please, 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 I'm begging you, don't buy stocks because of that. That's not how you buy stocks, right? You do your first of all, you look at what your goals are, right? Your plan, your strategy, your philosophy, your beliefs. You look at that. When you start buying stocks, don't just buy willy-nilly. Have you some goals, have you some fundamentals, have you some type of plan, but also have your values and core beliefs about companies, and also know your risk tolerance. So when you enter into buying stocks, you don't enter in just on a whim, right? When you buy stocks on a whim, you're gambling. If you buy a stock just based on what I say, you're gambling. You're taking a gamble, a big gamble. You're speculating. All right. That's the word. You're speculating. Don't speculate. I want you to be a solid, informed, wise investor if you're going to be investing in individual stocks. Okay. But if they have good management, if you've done your research on the industries that they supply and you know that there's a demand for what they supply, if their fundamentals, their numbers look good, if they're headed in the right direction, if they're leading in their industry. And as I talked about a few days ago, Nvidia is leading in the industry, but there's competitors coming. You better know that if you're actually researching and you're investing in Nvidia, right? The other thing is, the other reason you don't want to panic is, again, this could very well represent a buying opportunity for savvy investors. You get wealthy when things go down. You guys remember when the real estate went down back in 2008, 9, 10, 11, and there was all these foreclosures back in 11 and 12? People made a killing, right? People were buying property for $5,000 and $10,000. How do I know? I had a property that went into foreclosure, and I went back over the property. And when I was there, I walked into the property and I asked the guy, "Hey, how much you guys pay for this?" He didn't know I owned the property before, and he said, "Oh, we paid $8,000." $8,000? What are you talking about? In my mind, I'm saying, wait a minute. My mortgage, my loan was like $30,000, and now you paid $8,000 for the house that I had to. My point is that when things go bad, people become wealthy, including not just real estate, but right here in the stock market, because they buy things off that back rack in the back, the sales rack that has everything on 10, 20, 30% on sale. Undervalued garments that are on that rack, right? That are really should be out front and should be on sale for $200. They're in the back on sale for $75. And now when this piece of garment, I put it on and people say, "Whoa, that's a $200, 200. That's worth a lot." No, it's not. I bought it for cheap. Like they went in and bought that property buyback cheap. Like you could probably get Nvidia in the next few days cheap, right? A decrease in stock prices represents an opportunity to buy more shares at a lower price. Of course, I like to dollar cost average in. So you're buying, but dollar cost average plus. It's not either or. It's not dollar cost average or buy the dip. It's dollar cost average and buy the dip, right? But you gotta hit the big thing you gotta do, guys. Let me just run through the chat real quick. How am I going to buy when I'm already losing money as a new investor? As a new investor, what do I suggest? Good question. So what I suggest is that you do not panic, that you don't trip, that you make sure you're diversified. Don't put all your money in one basket. Don't put all your money on one stock ever. If you're a new investor, you ought to have a few shares of Nvidia, a few shares of Broadcom, a few shares of AT&T, a few shares of Eli Whitney, a few shares of AMD, a few shares of Ford, spread your money around, right? Don't diversify. That's rule number 3, right? I suggest that you don't put all your money in one basket. That's the kicker. Definitely time to buy. Surprise, this didn't happen earlier, right after the split. Yep, I agree with you. Let's go from New York City. Good to have you. A great time to eat in the street. Okay, let's see. DCA now, dollar cost average now. Hey, Mrs. Moore's in the house. Good to have Mrs. Moore. Guys, hit the thumbs up button for me. Take a second out, 1 second out, and just show your appreciation by hitting the thumbs up button for me real quick, if you will, please. Let's see. I will buy 8K tomorrow. My average cost of NVIDIA shares is $40. Investing is a long-term process. Yes, it's a long-term process. Appreciate that comment there, Brown Girls Invest Too. I sold early today and then bought it at 119 a share. Some of y'all are jumping in and jumping out, and that you got to be careful about jumping in and jumping out. Do not try to time the market. Just spend time in the market. That's the kicker. Don't try to time the market. You ain't that good. You walking on this court like you Michael Jordan, and you really not Michael Jordan. You really, Joe Johnson. Not Joe Johnson. You're Joe Blow from some. You can't play like Michael Jordan play, right? Jumping in and jumping out is trying to be Michael Jordan, right? You can't time it that well. People that been doing this thing for 20, 30, 40, 50 years been investing. They don't time the market very well, right? So here you are, a new person in the game of investing, and you think you're going to time the market, jump in, jump out. Don't do that. Dollar cost average in, buy your shares when they're lower. Buy a few more shares when they're lower. That's my suggestion. I'm picking up 44 more shares from the great state of Delaware. Good to have you, DB Nance. I've been buying more in July. I'm buying more in July, about $185 worth. Let's see here. Let's see. If you are investing for the long run, do not panic. Yes. Agree. It looked good for a smaller price. Yes. Let's see here. Good sale. It's on sale, right? If you look at their fundamentals, it's on sale. It's important to remember that Nvidia has a long, long future and is not going out of business anytime soon. KCM said, sure, you're right. And they play in a space that's AI, and AI is probably a part of the future. You have to avoid emotional decisions when you are investing your money. And it's counterintuitive to what you're accustomed to doing. It's counterintuitive to tell you not to be emotional about your $20,000, $30,000, $40,000. That's counterintuitive. And that's why most people don't win in the stock market. They win, but they don't win like they should win, like could win, because they're putting emotion into it. Panic selling, that type of thing is guaranteed to lock in your losses, right? And miss out on the potential. When you're trying to jump in and out the market, you're going to miss out on some potential huge gains. Emotional decisions result in buying high and selling low, which is the exact opposite you should be doing with your stocks, right? Because you get emotional. It's like when you go and try to buy the shirt that's sitting out front for $140, and you say, man, it went on sale. Oh my gosh, I got to get rid of the one I have because it might go down even more, and I'm nervous and I'm scared and I'm angry and I'm upset, and you got all these emotions wrapped up into it. Don't get your emotions wrapped up into your investing decisions, and it's difficult. It's against your human nature to do. But what happens is you're going to end up buying high, selling low, like some people have said they did already in the chat. That's counterproductive to successful investing, right? That's why investing is not a game. right? You're playing with money. It's not a game because you're going to find yourself making these decisions that's wrong. Diversification, make sure you're diversified. I think I said that already. But historically, the stock market and good solid companies stocks have recovered from downturns, right? Including those big time crashes that we're seeing, right? Now, let me say this also. Nvidia's sort of been carrying the S&P 500, sort of been carrying the market. Small cap, mid caps, they ain't done a whole lot. But Nvidia, it's been carrying the market. What happens to the market as Nvidia starts to slide? Or if Nvidia slides more, what happens to the overall stock market? We could be coming up on a time, and I said this before, but I'm going to say it again. Historically, in election years, the stock market has returned an average of only about 8 or 9% for the year, the S&P, right? Historically, years leading up to the previous year before a presidential election, stock markets have done 13 or 14%. So we've enjoyed the first half of this year kind of overachieving for an election year, kind of overachieving. This could be the pullback, the correction in the entire market that is driven first by the company that has pushed the market forward. So as Nvidia goes, perhaps maybe we see a pullback in the overall market in the next several weeks that may last a month or two, right? We have this sort of what's called like what is it called? A herd mentality, right? The herd mentality or herd behavior is everybody's on Nvidia's bandwagon. Everybody jumps off the bandwagon, right? So oftentimes you see these stock price drops and they're influenced by the herd mentality that we have, right? Rather than the fundamental changes in the company. Again, the company ain't changed. They're probably still going to have a great earnings report that's going to come out, right? But the herd mentality is just so rampant. You got to stay calm. You got to stay focused. You got to stay focused to avoid the pitfalls of emotional investing, right? But it started, Nvidia stock, NVDA, ticker symbol, correction is here. Is it still a buy? Right? That's the question, right? You got to maintain that level-headed approach. Stick to your fundamentals, your well thought out investment plan, whatever that may be, right? So you can navigate these downturns mentally and not get all caught up in, oh my gosh, what's going on? Oh man, I put so much, right? Let's see. Somebody said we're expecting the big Tesla announcement on August 8th. What's the likelihood that it'll have a positive effect on Nvidia and trigger the next bull run forward? Could happen, right? Could sink us down to some bear as well, right? CEO is having a year. Let's see here. CEO is having a year talk on Wednesday. Should go back up. Yes. So you have the CEO of Nvidia who's addressing the shareholders, I think on a couple of days from now. Yeah, thanks for bringing it out, LS. I appreciate that. Let's see. I'm so looking forward for 112, and then I'm going to open a new broker and start there between 110 and 114. Okay, cool. Not a bad idea. Let's see. If it doesn't fundamental issue, hold it. I don't understand what you're saying there. It will go up again after the earnings report. Let's see here. Dollar cost averaging. Invested my deceased uncle's money along with a bit of my own in Nvidia when it was in the 900s. Plan on buying more and more when it dips. Okay. All right. Not mad at you. Just make sure you diversify it. Let's see. Miss Sue, boom, boom, boom. 51. Guys, we got to get the likes up. Come on now. Don't do me like that. Get the likes up. Thank you. We got to get them up, guys. Hit the like button for me. Smash that button. Moses said, let me put that on screen, Moses. Thanks for the super chat, Moses. Appreciate you. That's the comment I read previously, right? That we're expecting the Tesla announcement on August 8th. Appreciate you, Moses, for that one. Thanks for bringing, and thank you so much for the super chat. I really, really appreciate that more than you know. I appreciate it. So T Vang said SCHD was up. Let's see, still ended up in his positive. Are ETFs a group of stocks in one little setup? Too cool, Cade. Yes. Yes, yes. ETFs are a bucket of stocks in one little bucket, right? You might have 80 in that 80 individual stocks in that bucket. You might have 3,000 in that bucket, right? But yes, it is. That's what an ETF is. Good question. Thanks for asking that. I'm sorry I'm late to the party, Tony. Good to have you. But did you guys hear about? I don't know what you're saying, Tony. Let's see. Sector rotation, people. Yep, that's a good one, too. I want a little piece of AVGO, waiting for it to go down a little more. Don't forget about your Broadcom, right? Don't forget about your Broadcom. Don't forget about some of those competitors, guys. So is AI okay? Here's one way of looking at Nvidia. One way of looking at Nvidia is to ask yourself, do I firmly believe that artificial intelligence is the wave of the future, the nearer future? Now, if you guys weren't on here Sunday, I made a note on Sunday to mention the fact that historically, when you have these type of over exuberance, irrational exuberance, FOMO type of big things come out like AI, historically, we've seen sort of a bubble of those things. The internet, right? China stocks, if you guys remember, all different types of things, right? And we can relate that to the housing market back in 08, 09. But the point is, when you see these big things that are going to happen, like we're looking at AI, sometimes historically, not sometimes, most times historically, there's been like a blow up of these things and then sort of a anticlimactic letdown. So we're all thinking AI is the future, AI is the future. But when in the future? Is AI the future for 2026 or is AI the future for 2036? Because if it's the future for 2036, then this exhaustion with AI that we see sort of happening with Nvidia, it could be here to stay, right? But if we think that AI is the future for 2026 and 2027, then perhaps this sort of overexuberance about AI and Nvidia's place in AI could be a reason for you to dig in and buy a little more of Nvidia as it goes down because you know it's going to go back up, right? Overall, we know that AI is pretty much, I would say, widely regarded as a big piece of the future across all different types of sectors, right? Why? Because AI is going to it's going to make everything more efficient. It's going to make everything that's automated even more automated. It's going to automate routine tasks, right? It's going to enhance businesses. We sort of know that about AI. It's going to enhance, but we knew that we were saying that about the internet and tech in general back in 1999. Before 2000, we were saying that this is the future. It's going to make business more efficient. So we're sort of saying the same thing about AI right now. We know it's going to enhance business and business processes. Everything, as I said before, from healthcare to manufacturing to logistics to customer service to inventory management, you name it. Everything that you can think of is going to be enhanced by AI. But is that in 2036 or is that in 2026? That's the question. And if you believe that it's in 2026 based on your research, based on what you see some of these companies doing and developing, then the tech sector could be your place to be. And grabbing a bunch of Nvidia at $118 per share is right where you want to be. Grabbing a bunch of Broadcom where they are is where you want to be. Grabbing a bunch of Amazon and Apple and Microsoft and Alphabet, Google is where you want to be. We've seen in the last 8, 9, 10 years, we've seen technology shoot through the roof, right? Let's pull up. Let me just pull up, if you guys don't mind. Let me just pull up, say, let's pull up a different stock. Let's pull up Broadcom. All right. Let me see if I can find Broadcom. If you guys are okay with that, right? Let me see here. So when I pull up Broadcom, let's do this. Yeah, let's pull up Broadcom. Let me share my screen with you guys real quick. And let's see here. Present. Boom, boom. All right, cool. So I want to illustrate what I'm saying here. Okay, here's Broadcom on the screen. If you're not on YouTube, come on over to YouTube, join us. We're sharing our screen. When you look at Broadcom right here, notice what I did with Broadcom. I went ahead and pulled it out for its max. Let's go back to 2012 Broadcom. 2012 Broadcom was trading at $33 per share. Look at what it's done. Now it's trading at what? At the end of the day at 1,500, almost 1,600 bucks. Imagine if you had put in 10,000 bucks into Broadcom at $35 per share. Right? 10,000 bucks. What is that? Let me do a quick math calculation real quick. 10,000 divided by 35, that would have bought you 285 shares back in 2012. 285 shares back in 2012 of Broadcom is now worth $450,000. $454,000. $10,000 worth of Broadcom in 2012, only 12 years ago, 10 grand, today would have you at 454 grand. This is the power of what's happened in tech. We've had a long bull run of quality tech, right? Quality tech. Now, if we were to run those same numbers, guys, run those same numbers for, say, an ETF, let's, VOO, it wouldn't run up that much, but it would still run up because tech has been carrying, VOO, VTI, et cetera. But tech, that's the power of what we're looking at in terms of tech. $10,000 of Broadcom in 2012 would have netted you roughly $454,000 today if you just left it there and didn't do anything with it. This is what we're talking about in terms of what's happened in the tech industry in the past 10 years or so, a little more than 10 years, right? So the question becomes, if that's the case, where is tech going? If you're a believer in tech and you like the tech sector, and maybe you got some VGT, maybe you got some AMD, if you believe in the tech sector, then perhaps this is just the beginning, right? And I'm telling you that this is why you shouldn't be panicking when you see a little dip in the price somewhere, right? And this is why I say, hey, dollar cost average. Don't look at your stock every day. You don't have to look at it every day. Put it in there, forget it. Go do something else. And it's why I say only invest money you can afford to lose. Guys, hit the thumbs up button for me. I haven't done this because I get to going, guys. Check out in the description box below my partner, Mint Mobile. If you're looking to save some money on your premium wireless services, check them out in the description box below. I use them, so it's really the only people I partner with on this channel. There's a few more, but I mention them every time because I use them all the time. My phone is sitting right here. I'm looking at it. So check out Mint Mobile. Super, super sweet, super easy. Keep your own phone number. Takes 15 minutes to switch over, right? Really enjoy their customer service too. Okay. So also, guys, got to hit that thumbs up button for me. Tap that thing for me. So is AI here to stay? Is the efficiency that the AI can add to businesses, data analysis, decision-making, profits, efficiency, is that here to stay? Right? The kicker with AI is it's going to take processing. It takes processing. You notice when you go to Chat GPT, you're typing anything, you notice how quick you get answers back, like full-fledged paragraphs answers that are really, really detailed, right? The speed of processing is enhancing. It's going up quicker and quicker and quicker. That's the big piece that Nvidia plays in. The processing speeds, analyzing huge, large data sets, right? Quickly, providing insights that generative IE that it can generate stuff. You can show it a picture. You can show it a picture of a German Shepherd and it'll generate some stuff, right? I mean, the application for AI is off the charts, and I think it's coming, right? I mean, AI algorithms, they're going to they're going to customize certain things. It's crazy. Healthcare, right? So the point is, how do you feel about AI? How does NVIDIA fit into your long-term investment planning? What is your idea about what's going to happen with their fundamentals at the next time they have their quarterly earnings report? You got to consider all those things to make a decision to buy, to sell, to hold into your ETF, your VTI, VOO, whatever it may be, right? What's the economic potential for growth for this company based on everything you've seen, read, heard, etc., right? Keep in mind, though, okay, I don't want to just hype, 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 hype. Always keep in mind the balance, right? Pros and cons, right? We're talking AI. When we're talking AI, we got to talk ethical issues. We got to talk, certain biases. Anybody ever seen the movie called I, Robot, right? We got to talk about I, Robot. I mean, how much learning are we going to pack into a robot, right? And it sounds weird to talk about that and crazy. Oh, that can't come true, but you never know, right? Some people mention ontology the other day ago. Ontology. I don't know if you guys are familiar with ontology, but I'm actually going to pull it up so I can give you the right definition of ontology, right? The branch of metaphysics dealing with the nature of being. When we start talking about, like I was talking about a company called Palantir, when we start talking about a company like Palantir, we get into some of those issues of ontology, right? The metaphysics dealing with the nature of being. Those things come into play when we're talking about AI, based on the fact of what artificial intelligence can do and is on its way of doing. So you can't ignore those things, right? You cannot ignore those things, especially as an investor, because sometimes as an investor, you have to look at the morals and values and things that you hold near and dear to your heart on whether or not I believe on whether or not you want to, get involved with a company that may be doing something that goes against your social or your values or your beliefs, etc. Right? Also, we got to think about AI in terms of privacy and security, AI in terms of litigation, right? The Supreme Court is hearing a case from Meta and hearing a case from Nvidia soon, right? Because of some GPU stuff that Nvidia was using with cryptocurrency, mining cryptocurrency, right? So those things are things you got to be thinking about. I'm trying to give you a lot of things to think about as an investor because I want you to be an informed investor. You also got to think about this in terms of AI, job replacement, right? Is AI going to replace jobs or is it going to enhance jobs that are already there? You got to think about it. We made the same claims 25 years ago when we said, hey, the internet and technology is going to replace us with robots. And it didn't happen back then, but you visit a McDonald's or something, you'll see that slowly but surely it's coming to fruition, right? So is that going to be the norm going forward? Is it going to be something that's kind of like, it's going to be another 10, 15, 20 years, right? All these things are things we have to think about. I don't think AI is going anywhere, personally. Let's see here. Somebody said I have both calls and puts. Let's see. It's going down to 100. Somebody says going down to 100. We'll see, Gene. Let's see here. Short term for sure. Puts on Nvidia. Okay. You think it's overpriced? I think Nvidia could be a little bit overpriced. I think the market is sort of exhausted. I think a lot of what we've seen in Nvidia has been a little bit of overvaluing of the price based on the irrational exuberance and the FOMO that flooded everybody into it. All of us retail investors just flooded into it. Oh, looks good, looks good. All this stuff we've been hearing, and that sort of ballooned the price up a little bit, I think. Right? Let's see here. And I scrolled to the bottom. If you had any questions, guys, you might put a Q in there and put it right back in there for me. I scrolled down some of them. Thanks for hitting that like button. Much appreciated from Georgia. Good to have you here, Jason. Let's see here. What price you value this company at? I think it's probably right around where it's at right now. I think it's probably coming back down to where it probably should be at this point because of in the last 5 days or so. I think Nvidia is coming back down to where it should be, right? When you start looking at the EPS or earnings per share and all that good stuff, I think it's coming back down to where it should be, right? And I think it was at 139, 140. I think some of that push right there was some of a bunch of retail investors digging in. And now we see a sell off. We see people wanting to take profits because other people realize that there was sort of a push forward because of everybody hyped up about it. All the hype caused it to be pushed forward. Great. It pushes it forward. And guess what I do as a savvy investor? I do a little sell off. I trim some profit off the top and I get out of it, right? Take my profits. It goes back down to 115. Maybe I get back in. This is what people that jump in, jump out sort of do. And I say people, a lot of times we're talking about large investors, large institutional investors, right? But if you just dollar cost average in, you don't miss the highs, you don't miss the lows, okay? Somebody said, blow Joe. Yeah, I'm way behind. Man, I'm way behind. Hey, thank you so much, Smart Mom. I appreciate you. Smart Man, I'm sorry, Smart Man. Nvidia went from 950 to 770 in March. A month later, it was back at 950, then 1110 a week later. And he said, buy more, right? Very good point. Thank you for saying that. I appreciate the super chat, and I really appreciate that comment because this is what happens with these what happens with these some of these technology companies. Sharp down, back up, sharp down, back up, sharp down, back up, ends up being higher than when it first was, right? So that does happen quite a bit. Did I miss another one here? Let's see here. Further down, let's see. All right, so let's see. And I'm scrolling down. I'm about I'm way behind. Yeah, I'm way behind on the chat, guys. I apologize about that. Please forgive me. Let's see here. All right. Let me go down to the other super chat here so I don't miss that. If I can find it. So I'm just scrolling through the chat, guys. Bear with me. And I appreciate you guys in the chat giving out information. Appreciate you so much. $2 super chat. Thank you so much, Chase. I appreciate you. Let's see. SPMO ETF. Thank me later. In Nvidia at 13%. Chase, thank you so much for the comment. And thank you so much for the super chat. I appreciate it. Appreciate it. Appreciate it. Let's see here. When in doubt, zoom out. Tech is going faster. Tech is going faster. AI is faster. AI is being, this is why I like AI. It's built on top of technology, existing technology. And don't forget, any firm, any company that you see out there that has to do a switch out or is involved in a switch out of the technology for AI, maybe at data centers, et cetera, those are companies to watch as well. Because there's going to have to be a switch out of technology into the new technology. Who's going to do that? Who's going to be the ones who goes in and deploys that new equipment, that new data center stuff that has to go in there? Keep your eye out for those companies as well. I think AI is here to stay. I really do, guys. Right? I think we're going to have increasing reliance and dependence on AI. And the more we rely on AI, the more chance that it's not going anywhere. And so as you see right now, Google, Alphabet, Amazon, Meta, you name it, Facebook, or not Facebook, but all the big ones, right? They are relying more and more on AI. And what happens is they don't turn the hands of time back when it comes to technology, right? We never go from 2020 technology back to 2005 technology. It doesn't happen. So the more industries rely on AI, the more demand there will be for AI moving forward. That's very important to note, right? Because it tells us that AI is probably here to stay. How big a capacity? I'm not sure. Are we going to see what history tells us is a pullback from AI like we pulled back from some other technologies? I don't know, right? But I can tell you this, it started. Nvidia, ticker symbol NVDA, correction is right here, right today. Is it still a buy? It's something that you'll have to ask yourself and make a decision about on your own. I can't tell you that because I don't know what your goals are. I don't know where you're going. I don't know what you're trying to go. I don't know what your values are. I don't know what your strategy is. Everybody's a little different. But it started. It's here. How are you going to handle it? Whatever you do, please do not panic, right? We're going to watch NVIDIA tomorrow go for maybe 118. What is it today? 118, that's it? We're going to watch NVIDIA go tomorrow from 118 Let me stop sharing. We're going to watch NVIDIA go tomorrow from 118 to perhaps 116, 115, right? Don't panic. Do not panic. I don't think NVIDIA is going to drop to $90 per share, right? If it drops to $90 per share, it ain't going to be there long because everybody's going to be buying. Because again, the fundamentals of the company have not changed, right? Have not changed. Now, how many in the chat? Let me know in the chat real quick, guys. How many of you do not own NVIDIA at this point? How many of you do not own NVIDIA? And while we're at it, let me give a super shout out to, thank you, Kimberly Evans. I appreciate you. Thank you for showing up for us tonight. I'm a new investor and bought NVIDIA. I appreciate you, Kimberly Evans. Thank you so much for the super chat. I really, really, really appreciate it. And yeah, I showed up tonight just to say, hey guys, be patient, relax. That was the whole point of this video, is because I saw what NVIDIA did, and I know we talked to a lot of new investors, and I wanted to just give you a little virtual hug to say, relax. It's going to be okay. It's not going to be bad, right? Hold on to your principles. Make sure you spread your money around. You never put all your eggs in one basket. And I know I'm repeating myself on that, but I'm repeating it because that's how important it is. You got to make sure you have your money spread around in different investments, not just one investment. That's too much speculation, too much risk, right? I would hate for you to see you lose $10,000, $20,000, $40,000, right? There was a big run up on Tesla a year or two ago, right? Tesla, yay, Tesla, ticker symbol TSLA, yeah. And now people sort of regret that, right? Now, Tesla could come back and, go way back up, jump back in the Mag 7, maybe, I don't know. But the point is when you put all your money, your eggs in one basket, you really, really, really up the risk. And that is not where you want to be, not what you want to be doing as a new investor. As a new investor, I actually suggest that you either jump in and do your homework, and buy a number of stocks from a number of different sectors, or I suggest that you go ahead and buy ETFs and index funds so you can learn how to invest and you can learn the stock market without actually risking all your money in these individual stocks that you may not know how to research properly, right? So great point. Thank you again for the super chat. I appreciate it more than you know, Kimberly. Thank you so much. Right? But overall, AI is going to be transformative in my opinion. Thanks for the super chat, Philip. Appreciate you. Let me read that one. Don't want to let you go, Philip. I appreciate it. Started investing outside of my retirement account. Fantastic, Philip. Watching you has really helped. Have VOO and QQQM, but decided to buy some NVIDIA stock today at 116. So, Philip, I hope what you put into NVIDIA is going to be a small portion of your portfolio, mostly being VOO and QQQM. But at the same time, don't just go throwing a large chunk into NVIDIA only. If you're going to play in individual stocks with any substantial amount of money, be sure you get more than one stock. So thank you so much, Philip. I appreciate those kind words, and I appreciate the $4.99 super chat more than you know. I appreciate it. Somebody said, if it comes to 90, I'm buying 100. Right. That's probably a lot of people saying that. I own calls and puts. Let's see here. I own NVIDIA. Excellent. Let's see. I own calls and puts shares. Let's see. Question. Why don't you, like small cap? Zach, great question, Zach. Let me put that on highlight. Zach said, why don't you like the small cap stocks in Vanguard VTI index fund? Well, Zach, here's the thing about me. I'm a little bit aggressive when it comes to ETFs, okay? The performance of the small cap stocks over the last 10 years ain't been real great. They just haven't been real great. Not to mention that even when they're so-so small cap stocks, small companies, they tend to be a little more volatile than I like. I like the blue chippers. I like the bigger companies, and I like weighted ETFs and index funds that highlight some of those big, solid companies. And so I typically try to stay away. I don't try, but I end up staying away from some of the small cap stuff. Even in my TSP that I have, my TSP with the federal government is mainly it's in those large stocks in the S&P 500, which is called the C fund. I stay away from the small cap because I just don't like the volatility. I just don't like the unknowns. I just don't like the potential for the company not growing at a pace that I like to see, not having that value, has a little value, but not having the value I like, not having the growth that I really want in some of the small caps, right? So that's kind of why I stay away from that, Zach. Great question. Thanks for asking that. I appreciate you. Guys, also hit the thumbs up for me, right? Take out 1 second out of your evening to go down there and hit that like button for me. I really would appreciate it. So I hope I was able to give you some things to think about, guys, on this quick video. Overall, I just want you to understand that it started. Don't panic. The correction is happening, but it's just a correction. The fundamentals of Nvidia don't change. The fundamentals of AI don't change. The need and demand for AI doesn't change. Amazon has not canceled their orders, right? Meta has not canceled its orders, right? So don't panic. There's no need to panic. Still a buy is a question mark. It's a question mark because that's a decision you have to make. I don't tell you to buy or sell on this channel. I don't tell you that. I don't tell you buy and sell. I tell you to make a decision that's right for you and your portfolio. Thank you for the super chat. New York X TAM. I think that says New York X TAM. Nvidia has an 80+% market share. Yeah, they got a huge market share. For how long? We don't know. Obviously, competition's close on their heels, right? The people who they sell their stuff to today are the same people who are developing the technology and the software and the hardware to compete with Nvidia tomorrow, right? Low PEG, no PEG ratio, made more cash in 1 month than Tesla entire year, said NYXDAM. So thank you for the super chat. Appreciate you for dropping that super chat. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Let's see here. Let's see. Kimberly Evans looking to VOO. VOO is solid too, right? VOO is Vanguard's S&P 500 index fund or ETF, right? Let's see. I own 53 shares and I'm not worried it going down. I'm not mad at you, Wayne. Cassie said, VOO, QQM, SEHD, and Nvidia. Tesla and Nvidia working on something behind closed door. Yes, they are working on some things behind closed doors. Where do we buy ETFs? ETFs anywhere. You can go to Vanguard.com, Fidelity.com, Charles Schwab's website. You can go to Robinhood. A lot of different brokers where you can go. Too cool. I have Nvidia, but also have 61 other stocks. Magna, well diversified. Thank you, Magna. Excellent. Fantastic. I do not find it necessary to own Nvidia. I have the C fund the C fund, for you guys don't know, is in the TSP, Thrift Savings Plan for the federal government, and I own VTI in my Roth. I'm fine. VTI is the overall stock market ETF. So that's cool. You kind of got a lot of overlap there, John Joe, by the way. VTI and C, the VTI includes the 500 funds that you have in the C fund, and I'm sure you know that. Let's see here. It performs so much better than anything else. I invested in boom, Parish, boom. All right. Oh, Jacqueline. Thank you so much for the super chat. I appreciate it. I appreciate it more than you know, Jacqueline Williams. I appreciate you. Thank you. Guys, listen, I'm not going to hold you. Didn't want it to be a long one, but I wanted to at least get that information out to you and tell you I'm watching what happened, and I'm getting some emails, and I'm watching some comments on my videos, and I needed to make this video for my new or slightly seasoned investors to hold tight, relax. This could be a buying opportunity. Let's see what happens. I'm going to come back with you guys probably in a couple days, and we'll see what happens with Nvidia in a couple of days and some other stocks as well. Guys, listen, I appreciate you more than you know. I appreciate you guys. And so I just want to say, don't forget to check the description box. You can get a free 24 Laws of Money down there in the description box. That's an ebook. You can also get on my schedule at the link down there. You can join our group where we're going to be doing a lot more individual stocks. I have a portfolio that I'm going to be unveiling to you guys. I already put up one video over there. We're going to put up another one shortly, kind of unveiling my strategy because I'm an ETF and index fund guy. But now I want to start digging into individual stocks with some sort of extra money. I want to start digging into individual stocks, and I want you guys to come along with me for my evaluations, for what I'm doing on that other site. So join us over there. It's the first link in the description box here on YouTube. You can join us for free. You can join us at the $9 level. You can join us at the $24 level per month, right? The free, you're only going to get a few things. You're not going to get a whole lot at all. But the paid members, we're going behind the scenes. We're unlifting the veil, and we're going to dig into actually researching some stocks, and you're going to watch me buy stocks for my own portfolio, and we're going to discuss them, right? We're going to dig a lot deeper. So come on over and check that out over there as well. Don't forget to hit the like button at some point here, guys. And listen, if you want to drop a question in the comments section, and I will be more than happy to answer it. And on these lives, I try to get to all of them, right? Sometimes I don't, sometimes I do, right? But, it takes some time, right? So let's see here. Leaving out of here. Ree's Room. I appreciate that. King Leo, glad that you're here. Jay, thank you for showing up. Junior Ian, thank you so much. The Walla Mala, as always, appreciate you. Mrs. Moore, I appreciate you more than you know. Thank you so much, Mrs. Moore. NW, good to see you. Paris, good to see you. Brian Dowdy and Wayne, thank you for being here. I think we had, let's see, who was that? Jay, I already said Jay. BF, thank you so much for being here. Smart Man, appreciate you again. James Bullock, glad to help you, James. Looks like James is on a trajectory to start his portfolio and get that thing rolling. Appreciate you guys. Validated as well. Guys, listen, as I always say, the best person who's going to take care of the old you is the young you. Take good care of yourself and take care of other people. Don't panic. Until the next video, peace.